So here it is, part 3, the game. Starting with PlayStation 1, a little bit of WWE / WWF. Ignore my crappy play. This is more importantly the performance of the game. So here we are, PlayStation, one of my favorite games as a kid. I probably suck at it now. Ignore that part. We'll just watch the Undertaker beat up the Undertaker, just like at WrestleMania. Or was it Survivor Series? I can't remember. But yeah, it's the debut of the Purple Undertaker. We'll just watch this, run it at full speed, and again, just feel free to hit the markers, the time markers to change what you're watching here. You have a little bit of emulation from everything: PlayStation, DREAMCAST, GameCube, PlayStation 2, PSP, PS3, and then eventually some Steam games, and some notes about that when we get to it. This is one of my favorite purchases from eBay. It's Soul Edge from PlayStation 1. Not Soul Blade, but actually Soul Edge. And there's not much to it, it's all in Japanese. And most of it's in English as well. You can play through this thing without knowing Japanese at all. The only downfall is the Edge Master mode, which is like Dirt Bus mode. A lot of the challenges are in Japanese, so you kind of have to like play it, find out what it is they want you to do, and maybe replay them a couple times. But other than that, the game is almost identical, with the exception of the opening, which I'll put at the end of this video as like an Easter egg. You can watch the full opening of this if you want to. Once again, ignore the gameplay. This is just me goofing around, recording some stuff for this video, using what used to be my favorite character. You can see here, I go for the critical edge 3 times and I only hit it on the last try. Right here. This game was so neat when it first came out, and now it's so much like Mortal Kombat. Same way Tekken is, that I lost track of it, but the first couple were really great. This one, and the one on SEGA Dreamcast, which also happen to have the Japanese version of that as well. Thank goodness for eBay. Here is some PS2 stuff, Star Wars Episode 3. I don't care what anybody says, that was a good movie, one of my favorites of the series. And I remember playing this actually on Xbox when it first came out. But here's the PS2 version, only because I haven't figured out how to make the Xbox work under Linux yet, but I'm sure I will. This is one of those things where the emulation of the gameplay looks so good that when you see the pre-rendered full motion video, it actually looks worse than the game. Moving on now to Silent Hill 2, one of my favorite games ever. This game was actually the first game that made me go out and buy a PS2 when they came out. I was kind of holding off, waiting for that must-have game, and this was it. I remember when it came out, I went out and bought the PS2, this game, a memory card, and the paper strategy guide to the game because I knew I would get confused by the puzzles. Here, you can kind of see I've got an arrow pointing down at the resolution. Some of this game is at 30 frames per second, other times it's at 60, but I just wanted you to see the resolution and the frame rate change. For some reason I always thought this was supposed to be 60 frames per second throughout, but for whatever reason it's not. You can see this is not stuttering or anything, so I don't think the emulator is slow. I just think maybe the game was not 60 frames per second the way everybody thought. Moving on to a game now I recently discovered. I still haven't played it all the way through yet. I want to. I just get so distracted by so many other things. But when I first saw a demo of this, it reminded me of that movie The Faculty. Kind of like the premise of it, the setup. The fact there's even somebody who looks like Josh Hartnett. But sound's turned way down because there's some 41 being played right now. And again, you can go full screen and get rid of this stuff at the bottom here. I know it's jarring to see, but I just wanted to do it for stats purposes. And unlike Silent Hill, this thing actually seems to run at 60 FPS, so that's good. Maybe I'll actually sit down and play this one day and buzz through it. Just can't believe how good the upscaling looks on this. As you can see by this arrow, kind of wonder if that's supposed to be the crow over there, REDREAM. Yeah, this thing is, it's seamless between the gameplay and the actual cutscenes. It's kind of neat. You can get this on Steam now. It looks good, but the copyrighted music has been swapped out for some generic stuff. It happens sometimes. But we're just gonna let this play out, and then we'll transition over to some PSP. We've got Ridge Racer set up, and then I also have one of the God of War games set up as well. So here we go into Ridge Racer. I know I didn't record it, but I actually have the internal resolution set to 10x that of the original PSP. And this thing's humming at 60 frames per second. I mean, not that it wouldn't be, it's a pretty okay computer I'm playing this on. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I remember playing Ridge Racer, which I believe was Ridge Racer 3 on the original PlayStation, and that was a lot of fun on the CRT. And so this is just me trying to play it on PSP and get used to the physics and whatnot. Okay, moving into God of War, Chains of Olympus. You can kind of check this out. Again, 10x internal resolution, 60 frames per second. Not really a big deal. I never really played this until now. I had a PSP, played it with it a little bit, but learned that I don't really like looking down at things to play it. Kind of gives me a neck cramp. I'd rather just play a console version of it so I keep my head upright. But for the time, the technology was great. You are not ready. PlayStation 3 emulation of the SIMPSONS. this game has some sort of weird sound clipping issue. I don't know if it ever got fixed. As of me playing it, so it's still an issue. It's still on the wiki. And there's also a minor bug with this particular game where, as you're playing it and you're at the menu, you have to disconnect and reconnect the controller. But here's one of my favorite parts from one of my favorite episodes that recreated. Maybe later I'll make another video all about PS3 emulation, and maybe I'll put Metal Gear Solid 4 on here, but it's going to take me some time to reset each game to my hard drive and put it over to here, but it could be fun, you never know. But if there's something you want to see, leave a comment. Also, I'm just going to be quiet now and let this play out, and then we'll get into hopefully some Dreamcast and CALIBUR. Here it is, SEGA Dreamcast, one of my favorite game systems of all time. This was the first game I bought for it. My roommate and I played hours of this game, just on end. Lots of fun. It was just so fluid and looked better than the arcade. It had almost zero load time. And I remember playing it, and we were on this one stage, and there were actually mice running across the stage. And my roommate actually got excited about that because someone took time to animate mice, of all things. And the whole game just looked good. If you've played it, then you know. But here it is at 1440p, 60 frames per second, locked, just smooth as butter. So here's another match with Duncan Club looking dude. Mitsurugi. He used to have all the moves memorized, but I haven't played this since probably 2002. But I'd love a remake / remaster of this game. Like I said, I liked Soul Cal, but that was before it went all Street Fighter 8. Same thing with Tekken. If they wouldn't make Tekken Tag Tournament and just remake it, and just stop there, I'd play that thing. I'd buy it tomorrow. Yeah, it's kind of weird using an actual controller to play this game. Back when I had it the first time, I actually had an official SEGA DREAMCAST arcade stick. I bought 2 of the things, and that was how I played this, and it was way easier than using a controller, but it is what it is. And if you look, you can see some of those mics I was talking about earlier. Moving on to Marvel vs. Capcom. This is just another one of the really fluid, smooth games. It was never one of my favorites, but I had to appreciate it for what it was. I do like watching other people hit those infinite combos, but I don't know any of them. A lot of these things are actually fun watching other good people play it, but it can still be fun if you just want to jump in there and button mash. Once again, 1440p, watch 60. I could have gone 4K, but I don't have a 4K monitor, so here we are. Moving on to GameCube, Resident Evil 2. Another one of those games I played as a kid. Haven't played it since then. You're gonna notice that I have suck. The tank controls kind of kick my butt a little bit. But you know, I may play it again someday. But right now I'm getting ready to play Resident Evil 4 as soon as it comes out in 2 weeks. So that'll be fun. And again, this is internal resolution set to 1080p, locked 60. I know you can't tell it from this, but it was. I mean, all these older game systems are so easy to emulate. Almost anything can do it, including your smartphone. So, for a desktop computer to do it, it's really not a big deal. But just watch me play it really terribly. There's Secura. .1998 at its finest. I love it. Although this might have been 97, I can't remember. Maybe it was fall of 97 into spring of 98. I just remember playing it a lot. My senior year of high school. My younger brother and I used to stay up all night just clearing it over and over again. And then moving on to Camp Reckoning 2. Christian. Creepy little bastard against Y2J. I never played this game until now. You're gonna notice that. I'm Y2J and Christian just kind of kicks my butt up for a little bit, but hey, still neat. Gotta turn down the sound because, you know, copyrighted music, but every video game based on wrestling, the entrances are my favorite part to watch. moving into something a little more modern now. One of my favorite games that came out 2 years ago. I played it a lot, not lately. And you'll see that too, because my rhythm is off and it's hard for me to combo, but this is mostly for demonstration purposes. Again, 1440p, everything maxed out. My only regret with this is I did not install Mango HUD, so there's no frame rate counter showing up other than the one by Steam. But again, clock 60, it is what it is. This is one of those games that, you know, again, doesn't take much to run. And that will do. I guess it's good enough to clear a room. Again, not a professional player, just kind of a hobby. Here's Tomb Raider running under Steam. I ran the same benchmark with the Epic Games Store version, and everything was fine until I got to the Geothermal Valley, and then it just hard blocked. Like, technically it was still going, but I was getting like 4 frames per second, so I just kind of killed it. It's called the exact same game under Steam, and it runs just fine. I did notice on the playback of this, there's no clipping in the recording, but it wasn't there during gameplay. So I don't know if that's just an OBS issue, or if it was just something to do with the way OBS records from Steam, using Pipewire and all the other backends that, you know, Linux has that I don't understand. But there's this really pretty game and the benchmark running. And in this game, the benchmark is doing this well. Actual gameplay will be better because the benchmark is so much more stressful than actual gameplay. Moving on to get Days Gone. I was trying to use a controller and then a mouse and keyboard and flip back and forth. I believe this is mouse and keyboard because I can't figure out how to like gently walk. But I was so busy trying to like record this I wasn't really putting it all off. Because getting through this part unseen is relatively easy, but I mess it all up. But at least you can see these things do run under Steam through Linux Mint. So if you don't have a bunch of money for an OS or you just don't want to use Windows, you can get by without it. Okay, conclusion time. Do you need Windows? No. Is Windows better? Yes. And for the Linux lovers, that's going to trigger some people, but it really is. I mean, it does things better because the games are written for it. However, you can get by without it and save yourself $150 by not buying the operating system. This is all done without using a terminal, no console commands, no anything. Just install the games, install the apps, play them, use whatever controller you want to, that sort of thing. As this video was meant to be. I'm probably going to do another video just as like a bonus with some extra games thrown into it. Maybe the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw demo. Maybe changing desktops from Cinnamon to something else. I don't know yet. But yeah, I mean, you can get by without Windows. Or if you simply don't have money for Windows when you first build a computer, you can install something like this. Or Manjaro, which a lot of people like, and get by. Again, no Windows needed. It's not as hard as daunting as Linus made it out to be. And I know I've only shown a couple of the games. If there's anything you want to see played under Linux, I'll try it out. If it works, I'll post it. If it doesn't, I'll make a video of my failure. But other than that, just enjoy some of this bonus game footage that I've got recorded here. Full intro to Soul Edge. And enjoy.